All right. Well, maybe we'll just dive right in, and I'm curious. Kind of, maybe we'll just start at the beginning. Maybe we don't have to go too far back, but like, I'm kind of curious how you entered the music scene in general. If you grew up in a musical family, or did you just kind of pursue it on your own?
Well, me personally, I grew up in church actually, and that's how I started singing.
Okay.
I was in choir and whatnot growing up because I loved music.
Mm-hmm.
And, I parted ways with the church when I hit university age, which happens. And kind of went through I wouldn't say rebellious phase, but when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of rock music, but I had to hide it from my parents.
Okay. Unless it was Christian music, maybe?
Yeah. Okay. Christian rock was the closest that I could get to listening to anything that was rock. So I grew up listening to 1,000 Foot Crutch and Relient K and
I was just about that. What about MXP? Yeah. What about MXPX? Were they
MXPX?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were like borderline Skillet and who else? But a lot of those Christian rock bands were kind of my introduction to rock. And then I kind of listened to Nirvana and Silverchair and Radiohead, and I had to hide that. But
keep it on the down low. Okay.
And some metal too. I like Blind Guardian a lot, and
nice.
Muse. I went through a Muse phase.
Mm-hmm.
Metallica, and that was probably in high school. But again, that was at friends' houses.
Okay, in secret.
I mean, I grew up in a rural community, so it was and a Christian home, so I kind of had to.
Okay, so small town, Nakawik, right? You're from Nakawik?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So Nakawik, inside a small town with what's their main industry there is what, the pulp mill probably?
The pulp mill, it closed down for a while, and the town kind of was gutted for that, but I think it opened back up recently, but I haven't been really in my hometown that much since I went to university, and I've kind of been living in Fredericton ever since.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I moved to Fredericton, and I actually worked at King's Landing Historical Settlement in the theater troupe from when I was 16 until I was probably 22 or 23.
Okay.
And that also got me my first kind of into music in general, and that was my folk phase. We call that my folk phase. And then
because of King's Landing, was that the music that was around there, or?
I kind of grew up with it because my father worked there, my grandfather worked there, and I always loved folk music, and I was entrenched by it, and then in the best way. And then I started doing folk a lot, and that I started writing folk music as a musician, as an individual musician.
Okay.
And then when I went to university, I started playing at coffee houses and going to open mics, and I started by I was able to listen to music without worrying about who was around me or whatnot, and I started delving into doing covers. I played a lot of covers, but I did them my way, and so as an individual musician, that's how my journey started, I guess, was listening to what I wanted and being like, okay, I'm going to make this acoustic because I'm not really a great guitar player, but I can back myself up enough. And I just started playing music and seeing what my style was. And then I started going to karaoke at Boom back in the day. And then that got me into I should try this rock song. Because I had some friends who were like, you should try singing rock music.
Okay.
Because I would do some on the cusp. I liked Nirvana a lot, and I tried a Nirvana song, and they were like, no. This is where you live. You're a rock singer. And I'm like, I started singing more of it. I'm like, you know what, I am. And I've always kind of loved the music, but I didn't really get to sing it until I was in my 20s. And now I'm 30. Now I'm 33, and I'm just living my best life right now. It's always been my dream to be a rock singer. I mean, since I kind of discovered rock as a teen, and I was just like, can I do this? Can I sing this? And then as my voice developed, my voice deepened as I got older, and I started to practice a lot more. I was able to go to practice at open mics and belt. And then when I started belting, and I'm like, oh no, I can actually sing this. Cool.
Cool.
And then that was, just going through open mics and practicing. And
do you have a moment where you can remember trying to belt for the first time, or having to belt for the first time?
I was singing karaoke at Boom in 2000, and I was 25, I think, or 24, 25. So that's 2014, 2015, I think. Okay, and then I had that moment where I was singing Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
Nice.
And that was my first, like, because it belts and then it also goes into the upper range. And I'm like, if I can do everything in this song, because a regular karaoke suggested that I learn that song, and that he's like, you try this, see if you can hit all these, and then we'll know whether you're a rock singer.
Okay, that's a good test.
And then, so that was Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
Okay,
and I was 2014 at Boom Karaoke, and I started hosting karaoke at Boom, and now I'm hosting karaoke at Monarch on Thursdays too.
Okay.
So
same place, different name, right?
Same place, different name. Oh, yeah. Totally different vibe. Like,
totally different vibe. Okay, Monarch. I've been to Boom a few times, but I haven't been into the Monarch since they changed.
It's great. I mean, the owner of Monarch, Diane Wilson, we call her Mama. She's like a mama to everybody, and the space is so welcoming to LGBT community.
Cool.
And people who aren't in the community either. It's a very welcoming environment, and there's lots of drag shows there. And I host karaoke twice a week. I host it Thursdays. My friend Natalie hosts it Sundays, but now it's James. Her brother is taken over for the summer. Okay. But yeah, it's James Morrison, and he recorded our album that you're going to listen to. I'm guessing you're going to listen to a few songs.
Yeah, for sure. The EP. Yeah, he recorded, mixed, and mastered it, right? He did the whole thing.
James Morrison. He's in several local bands here in Fredericton, and he's come to our shows, and he's just like, I have a recording studio. Do you guys want to record an album? And we're like, yes. So we did a little EP with 4 songs. We sell them for $5 at shows, like nice and cheap. And then as soon as we get 10 songs, we're going to do a full album. We have 6 songs written right now. Okay. We have one actually we're playing tonight that Fredericton hasn't heard yet. So
a new one. Okay.
We're kind of excited. It's called Let Me Know, and it's fast, and it's more like it's not really garagey. It's grunge, but it's like fast grunge. Faster? I don't know if you can. Okay. Yeah, it's fun. Well,
when I first heard the EP, the grunge sound comes across, but I also kind of gave me vibes of like the Riot Girl vibe, like kind of like Babes of Toyland, Lunatics kind of era.
I love it. Like, honestly, I just being able to. There aren't a lot of I'm gender fluid, so I go by they them, but I lean into my femme vibes more, I find, with the rock band, because there aren't a lot of female rock singers.
Yeah, there just isn't.
Locally. There aren't that many of us. There are some. Like, there are some really great, like Jacqueline Reinhardt from St. John. Yeah. And
Lisa LeBlanc. Lisa LeBlanc, she's in the Acadian scene, but she's come out, like, she's expanded her audience quite significantly.
She's got some great songs. I was introduced to her last year, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
She's really cool. And Amber Levy from Lily's Day. Oh, I love Amber so much. And she's from St. John too. I guess most of my rock buddies are from St. John.
That's kind of the vibe here. Yeah, very rocky and grungy. Yeah. And
Natalie Thibodeau from Fredericton and Cherry Dynamite. She's got powerhouse vocals. Oh my gosh.
That's a great name, Cherry Dynamite. That makes me think of that same early '90s. Like, that gives me that kind of vibe. Off the right, I should write that down. Cherry Dynamite. They do a lot of rocky, poppy stuff. Cool. Mostly covers. I don't know if they do any originals, but they're awesome. Okay. And she's got pipes. Cool. She's awesome. And her brother James Morrison is Natalie's brother, and he so I met him through her. Okay. And he comes to rock shows. He's super awesome, plays guitar in several bands, and met him, and he was just like, guys, you want to record an album in my basement? You're like, yes.
And yes. It was like, that's literally the vibe. Trash Oyster is like a grungy garage band, and that's what it was just like musty down there, and I have allergies, so I'm like hauling off my puffer every couple of songs.
That's funny.
It was so fun. We took the whole album. So he goes by Good Karma Productions for anybody who wants to look him up on Facebook, and I don't know if he's on Instagram, I'm not sure, but so we did the whole thing just live. In his basement. Okay. Like, the guys played on amps. He mic'd the amps. I had like an SM58, just like rocking it, banging it up. And our drummer, Kelly, had a little cage. It was cool. Okay. And like, we just did it live off the floor. Wow. Did each song 3 times. Okay. And then just took the best take. Yeah. And then just took the best take from the songs. And I think everything. He was impressed by my vocal. It was funny because I did the same songs the same time every time. He was just like, I've never had a vocalist be so consistent. But I mean, I wrote lyrics and I wrote the vocal part. So it's just like, for me, it's just, this is what I wrote. So
yeah, you had to set in stone.
It's ours. Like, we wrote the music. And I think our guitar player went in and just did some overdubs, but like, other than that, the album was entirely live off the floor.
Okay.
And because that's the vibe we wanted, like, we're a live rock band. Mm-hmm. We don't want to like studio, whatever. Like, we're just like, no, we're like garagey grunge. Like, we want that to be on the album, and you can hear it. I think I don't like the acoustics, and like it sounds garagey and grungy, and that's literally what we did. Was recorded in a basement. Cool. And it was awesome. It was so much fun.
Did you play the click tracks, or was it just kind of whatever the tempo felt out in the moment?
No, like our like, we just
went for it.
We practice pretty much every week. Mm-hmm. So like, we had, and those 4 we had practiced, like those, we wrote them, so the writing process, I guess I can give you a little bit of a chat, because like, it's kind of hard to talk about without talking about the writing process.
Sure.
So basically what we do is, like, one of the guys, either the bass player or the guitar player, Glenn or Colin, will come up with a riff.
Okay.
And so Colin, our bass player, did the riff for The Maze. So if you hear that one, and then he just kind of came up with the riff, sent it to us in band chat, and then we showed up to practice, and Colin started playing the riff. Glenn started playing some guitar on top of it to try to like come up with the melody, and Kelly was doing the drum beats in the background, trying to figure out what she wanted to do, and I sat in the corner and wrote lyrics.
Okay. Yeah.
Based on what the vibe was from the song.
Okay.
And
did people have to add riffs in the moment? Like, was it just actually one riff, and then the song came out organically, or?
Yeah, that's like so it started out with the bass line, the do 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 do, and then I kind of got like, when I was writing, I like was like, oh, it's kind of like sinister. It's like it's there's more to it than just, it's not like the feeling is, it's like a maze. It's like, you can't, it twists and it turns, like, and then I was kind of describing the melody in my head, and then I kind of came to the maze idea, and then I started writing lyrics based off of, and I'm like, the mind is like a maze, and then that's how that song came out, was like, oh, your mind's like a maze, twists and turns all the time, life happens to you, and you have to roll with it. The maze can change under us all, your life can change like that. And then, so basically he started the riff, and then Glenn came up with the guitar part on top of it. And then I'm like, once they played long enough that I had a verse written down, I was like, okay, guys, come up with a chorus. And I'm like, and I was kind of like, like, the feeling for the chorus needs to be punchy. It's got to like stand out. And they came up with the chorus, like the melody for the chorus. And then I listened to them come up with the chorus. They played it over and over. I came up with lyrics on the spot. And that's kind of how we do all of our songs. It's like, somebody starts with a riff. So Games, Glenn had the riff going, and then Colin came up with a bass part for it, and I was immediately just scribbling in the corner. I'm like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
And I just kind of channel, like listening to Nirvana and Silverchair and Radiohead. I love Radiohead so much. They're a huge influence. And like the lyrics, and I said, okay, like this is, we did a lot of, before we started writing our own music, we started out as a tribute band. So we came together for a tribute show, put on by Eddie Young at Grimross in January 2023, I believe.
A tribute band for someone specific, or like
it was just a
cover band,
a grunge tribute show.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so he had messaged like different people in the community who we knew like were into the rock music and whatnot. And Eddie messaged me, and he's like, want to put a band together? And I'm like, yeah, sure. so I put, like, my partner is our lead guitar player, Glenn Love, and like we've been together for 2.5 years now, I think. And I was just like, Glenn, you want to play guitar? And he's like, yes. And then he was in a band, Delirious Monks, and Colin, his best friend, is a bass player for that band. Okay. And he's like, and I was like, Colin, do you want to play bass with us? And like, so Colin joined in, and then I was like, well, now what do? I can't, like, drummers.
Oh, drummers.
The one problem was finding a drummer, and I was just like, oh, what am I going to do?
Drummers, yeah.
And because like it's so hard to find one that's
Yep.
not in 7 other bands.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I was struggling. I posted because it was like we had a page. I was just like, does anyone know of a drummer at all? They don't have to be like a drummer who drums all the time, just somebody who would be willing to drum for this show. And Eddie suggested Kelly Baker. And Kelly, I knew Kelly through, she's an awesome photographer. And I met her, I think maybe 5 years prior, because we both did some writing and photography for the East magazine, which is out of St. John.
Yeah.
And I used to do some writing for them and copy editing. And Kelly took photos, and that's where we met.
Cool.
Years ago. And then I also knew her through the university scene because I went to university at St. Thomas. And then like when I saw that name, I'm like, oh yeah, Kelly. Yeah, sure. And I messaged Kelly right away and she was 100% down because she had done a Women in the 90s tribute like the year prior. And she loved doing that. Like she drums for fun.
Yep.
And then she was just like, oh no, I'm totally down. And like, because we knew each other. And so yeah, that's how we formed for this tribute show. And then it gets better. We played the 6 songs we learned. One of them we never played again because it sucked. It was great. We did Garbage. I'm only happy when it rains.
When it rains? Oh yeah. It was tough.
We messed it up.
Okay.
Like bad. It was just like, it was, I think I don't know how we messed it up, but we never played it again since then.
I left it in the past. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we learned like 6 songs for this tribute, and then the reception for the band as a group was so intense. Like everybody, we had so many people coming up after being like, "Are you guys like a band? Like, are you going to be a band?" And like Eddie, like as soon as we finished playing, Eddie goes up on stage and he's just like, "So this like, because we came up with the name Trash Oyster based off of Pearl Jam and Garbage." Trash Oyster.
Okay, I was going to ask about that because it's a great name, Trash Oyster.
Yeah. And so Eddie was just like, "So Trash Oyster, you're going to be a thing, right?" And like we're all kind of looking at each other on stage, being like, "Yeah, 100%." And then we started just meeting up every week, adding more songs to our repertoire because there's a hunger for grunge.
Yeah, cool.
People are understanding that there's so much more to grunge music than it's making a comeback. Like because you can resonate like a lot of these songs, like my gosh, like the lyrics and the like you could just get you right to your core and hits into the nitty gritty. And right now we're a society that's hurting, and to be able to sing it out and just be like, you know, like singing out to Nirvana, Heart Shaped Box, to Smells Like Teen Spirit, to Tomorrow, Silverchair, like these creep resonates with so many people. Because we're a hurting society. And so we formed with this grunge tribute. We practiced every week pretty much since then, built up, 3 hours worth of covers. We started playing gigs a lot in town locally. And then we got some originals written. And we were just like, you know what? All right, we got 3 hours of covers. Now we know enough about the genre. We know enough about how we interact with each other that we're going to write some original music. So we started out doing covers and then finding ourselves and our style.
Did the covers kind of like help everyone learn how those songs were written, like kind of what goes into that style?
Well, yeah. We amassed probably, and we've also discovered, like we also like some like newer rock. We played some Green Day. Cool. We play like, they're not necessarily 90s, but like it's like mostly like 90s, 2000s rock vibes. And like we've probably learned enough songs and we were immersed enough in the genre that we felt that we could actually write in the genre. And because we all knew that was kind of our niche, like we're good, like grunge is our vibe. And like for me, like I love singing grunge. So like it's just, you can shout on stage, you can run around, you can just let it all out, and people are feeling everything with you in the audience. And like it's such a
like cathartic. That's how I feel about Alice in Chains. Their album Dirt is like, if you need a cathartic release, that's a good album to throw on.
There's nothing like the feeling of when you're singing a song and the whole audience is singing with you.
Oh yeah.
And like it's the best thing in the entire world. Just like knowing that you're all in the same moment together. And now that like our originals have been out since, I think this January was our 1-year anniversary as a band, and we did our album release.
Cool.
And so our originals have been out there for about 5 months now, and we have people coming to shows knowing the lyrics to our songs.
That's cool. That's a good
feeling. That is really cool. Like to have like pals of mine like be like, oh yeah, like we play your songs all the time on Spotify and on like on Bandcamp and YouTube, and I'm like, what? And I just checked YouTube today, and I'm like looking at views, and I'm like, there people are watching. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
originally we just like we were having fun as a grunge cover band, and then like we're like, no, let's write some original stuff, and then we started playing some out of town shows, and like we're kind of, I feel like we're going to Grady's Pub in July in Salisbury, and then we're playing Harvest again this year. We played Harvest last year in Fredericton at Monarch, and we're doing the same thing. We're playing at Monarch during Harvest in September.
Cool.
But yeah, we played a lot of shows in the last year.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I know, like this will air after the show tonight, but Mooch, you're playing with Mooch from Montreal tonight in Fredericton, which is going to be cool.
Dude, I am so pumped for that show.
That'll be good.
Mooch and Earth Alter, like, and they've been so great to work with, and like Mooch is a bigger band, like they're really good, and they're like, and they've been nothing but like great with. They're like, oh my gosh, you're promoting so much, and I'm like, thank you. They're like, no, like a lot of bands don't promote as much because they might have one person who does social media. That person also works full time, and like it's hard to find time for promoting yourselves. But I carve out about an hour a day to make posts and make stories and whatnot, and it's time that you need to set aside and you need to spend on it. But like they've been great to work with, and they're so humble, and like I'm so excited to play with them. Like they're all pumped for the show. We're excited for the show. Like it's gonna be great. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
We're playing a Broken Record in Fredericton tonight, which I mean this will be airing after the fact, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
That's very cool. And do you have, actually, before I start asking more about shows, thinking about the EP, I was just wanted to mention like the bass, the bass tone's really nice, and also the last song, I'm Done. That the chorus in that song just like sticks around and floats in your brain forever. It's like the other day I'm like humming it, and I'm not very good at remembering lyrics, so I was just humming this over and over. I'm like, what even is this? I can't even remember this all, but it was just in my brain, and just like. That's a really great. Sometimes I would recommend some listeners maybe even jump right to that track, as like go right to track 4 and check that one out, just because it does that to your brain.
A lot of people like Games too, because the chorus is catchy for Games. But I'm Done and Games are both kind of on the same subject, where they're just like, like I'm tired of. I guess no, they're different. But I'm Done is that I wrote that. I wrote that when I was in a very low place, and it was just like. I work in a lot of public facing jobs, and sometimes like you're just so tired of, like, I love people. I love working with people. I love doing what I do. But it's hard sometimes to show that fake smile when you're like, you've got other stuff going on. You've got family stuff going on. You've got stuff going on with your friends or relationships, or and you're dealing with it, and you have to put on that fake smile for work and be like, yeah, everything's fine. We're good. Let's have a good time. This is the vibe. And it's just everything you have, you have to do it. That's just, it's part of, working in the scene, and it grates on you. And that song was like, kind of just like, I was experiencing a low moment in my life. And I was just like, you know what? I'm so tired. I'm done. And like, when I was kind of talking about these feelings to my partner, Glenn, and like he came up with the riff, and then he sent the riff to the group, and I'm like, I already kind of had an idea of what I wanted to write with it. And I was just like, yeah, this is it. And that was just kind of what came out of those feelings. Okay. I'm tired of all the fake smiles. Take my life. I need a new one. Like, you work in the service industry.
Yeah.
When
the service industry, shout out to all the service industry workers.
Shout out to all the service industries. Tip your bartenders, tip your wait staff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's hard. Like I've had plenty of those jobs myself too over the years, but it is hard for people who have never been in that world to understand kind of what you just said. Is like you got to put on that fake smile for every single customer,
every single person, and customer, and whether or not like they treat you with the same respect that you treat them.
Yeah, that can be tough.
And that's the clincher right there, is just, I'm nice to every person who walks in the door, but they're not always nice or understanding back. And it's like, and sometimes they treat you like you're worth a lot less than them when you're just trying to do your job. And it's like, it's kind of like an anthem for the working class.
It's an anthem for the service industry.
It's an anthem for the service industry. But
that's perfect. It does sound like the kind of like I could see that song going on. It's like whatever time your store closes, Like you lock the door, play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just like, it's a song that for me, like, I play it sometimes for myself when I'm just like, F this, I'm done. And I'll play it and I'm like, all right, cool. Now it's out.
Yeah.
I got my mood out. Now I can get on with the rest of my day. You know, it's like one of those, it helps you reset because you have to get your feelings out in order to reset. You can't just bottle everything in. And our generation, I think, is learning that. I mean, I guess I'm a millennial, 1990. I was born 1990. So like, I guess I'm a millennial. But like, we're kind of learning that bottling up your feelings does nothing to help you. Like, it's good to talk about stuff that's going on in your life. And like, for me, music, it's that outlet. It's that place where I can be like, this is what's going on in my brain. And like, cause I have friends who are just like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Smiley face, thumbs up.
Yeah.
You know,
but the music gives you a chance to express it. And I think
music is a tool for expression.
Big time. And you mentioned earlier too about how that kind of happened more in the 90s. I think you were saying something like that. And I think if people were to go back and listen to the early 90s, it is pretty like, it can be pretty dark and emotional or cathartic music when that grunge scene, because everyone knows the Smells Like Teen Spirit, blah, blah, blah. But all the other material around that time frame.
Yeah. I mean, like, even like the song, I'm trying to think, like Karma Police is one of my favorite Radiohead songs. And it talks about just being disgusted by society and, you know, getting lost in this feeling. You know, for a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself because you get so caught up with just everything going around. The news gets worse and worse every day, and it just feels like you get lost in it and you need to kind of step away from it almost. And grunge is a great outlet for just getting those feelings out. Like, I'm angry. I'm angry at what's happening right now. I'm upset with the people in my life. I'm upset with my situation. And a lot of grunge music is actually political. It doesn't like Tomorrow, Silverchair talks about, you know, somebody, you know, you've got to wait till tomorrow. You've got to wait till tomorrow because you're not going to get what you need today. Or you're like, you can't be satisfied. And, you know, that lack of satisfaction, that angst, that feeling against, you know, a feeling of anger, of not being able to control your environment, not being able to control anything. And right now, you know, we're dealing with a lot of financial cuts, and it's really hitting the service industry hard. And it's hitting the working class pretty hard. And, you know, people are turning to grunge because I think it's because they're reacting to the environmental changes around them. And it's an angry genre of music. And people are resonating because they're angry. And like, that's the climate. And people, like, you know, they're feeling it right now and returning to grunge, and it's making a resurgence. And also just, you know, the style of grunge is so cool. Like, who doesn't want to, like, the visual style? I love dressing grungy. It's like, you can, like, it looks like you messed up your hair. You don't have to be perfect. Your eyeliner can be smudged all over your face. Nobody gives a damn. Yeah. Like, it's just, you're living your feelings, and it's about emotions and feeling. And this is the time, like, if this is the time to write grunge music.
Yeah, and that early grunge had they had all the emotions in it too, and the songwriting is quite well done. Like, there's some songs that are written, like the song "Creep," actually speaking, not by Radiohead, but by Stone Temple Pilots. That's such a beautiful song, and it's crafted like, I don't know, it's just creepy, and it obviously is a really heavy tune. Yeah, and like emotionally.
Yeah, and that was it. You know, like they dug into the emotions, and people related to it. And the same things, like, people now are turning back to those 90s songs, to the Nirvana, to the Radiohead, to Stone Temple Pilots, to the hip. They're not grungy, but like, people are coming back and just saying, you know, these songs were so well written, and they're making a comeback because people resonate with them. And, you know, I do hear people say a lot, like, man, I wish people wrote songs like this today. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, like, we're trying to write those songs that resonate with people, with their hearts, with their emotions, with their feelings. And it's just, it's rock in its rawest form. Because grunge, like, you could mess up a note, nobody would care. It's about, like, are you sweating to death? Is your head banging? Are you like, are you crying on stage? like, what are you like? It's about the feeling. It's not about this. It's not. It is about the sound, but like the sound comes from your feelings.
You think yeah, it's like it's like, do you think it kind of morphed, like punk rock is also really angry, so I kind of wonder if grunge morphed out of punk, and then it's like grunge is like punk with more, they're talking more about their feelings and less about their just straight up anger.
Yeah. No, 100%. Sorry, I just got a little. I 100% agree with you. Because punk is like, you know, like it outright calls out all the stuff that they're talking about in their songs. Like they outright call out the government. They outright call out like companies and corporations and capitalism and whatnot. And grunge is like, it's more about this is how my environment is affecting me. And grunge, I find, is internal. Grunge is more internal, you know, and like punk is like external. It's like, I'm angry. This is why I'm angry. Let's go. And like, I love punk music. Like I definitely take a lot of like my writing comes from like, well, how does society and how does, you know, capitalism affect me? And that's kind of where it's at with grunge, is like, it's very introspective, very emotion. It's emotional. And like, but yeah, 100% can see punk and grunge. Like there's a fine line. And it's like, it's that internalization, I think, is what it comes in writing grunge.
Yeah.
From what I know, I'm not an expert by any means. I just love the genre. So
yeah, I'm no expert either, but just as we were talking, that just seems like maybe that's how it got that way.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's very cool. Do you have any? So I would recommend like Dirt by Alice in Chains, but do you have any like albums you would mention? Not to put you on the spot, but do you have any albums you would throw out to someone who'd be like, I'm going to dip my toes in grunge? Maybe someone who's like, you can imagine them being like 18 or something. Like I would go Dirt, and even the first I Mother Earth album is kind of like a
in terms of, I'm gonna do a quick search because I have there's like so many things. For me, the album, what's it called? Shoot, just trying to find Nirvana for like was big for me.
Yeah, you know what, that album. So there might be people who hear like Smells Like Teen Spirit so many times they can't imagine that album is anything but like really popular. I don't really know how to say it. Like it might have been played to death, but there's so many other interesting songs on that album. There's so many
other songs on that album, and we play pretty much. I think there are only 2 songs that we don't play from Nevermind.
Okay.
Like most of our Nirvana repertoire is from Nevermind.
Yeah.
And I like Breed is so fun to play. Oh my god. Lithium resonates with anybody who's just kind of feeling it. Heart-Shaped Box, I think I don't know if Heart-Shaped Box was on that album or not.
That might have been on In Utero. I'm not
In Utero, I'm just going back to check, but I'm just gonna look at
such a cool era sound. I'm not a huge
In Bloom. In Bloom.
Yeah,
oh my god. Yeah, we play In Bloom a lot. Territorial Pissings. That's Glenn, so our lead guitar player Glenn, like he'll occasionally sing. He's got it pipes. Like he's a very good singer, and he does the backup vocals for games, and but when we do shows, like he'll sing some of the songs, and he sings Territorial Pissings, and he does Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is not necessarily grunge, but it's like adjacent.
Yeah.
And then we do Steady As She Goes by the Raconteurs.
Oh, cool.
We like to play a little bit.
Yeah.
So he does the lead, and I do harmonies. So I don't get to sing a lot of harmony.
Okay.
But
something just popped into my head. Something just popped in my head. So, do you have a project called Love Fawcett?
Yes.
And it just clued into me that is Glenn's last name is Love, and your last name is Fawcett. Okay.
Yes.
I just got it. That just clicked in my head.
It's kind of a side. So I'm learning bass on the side.
Okay.
I'm not a good bass player by any means, but I'm like, it's teaching me a lot about music theory. If you want to learn about music theory, learn bass because you learn the location of all of the notes. And so if you're trying to learn how to write a guitar solo, like learn the bass, because then you're learning where everything is, and then you can play with that. It's taught me a lot about music. I've learned so much about music theory from learning the bass, because you're learning the individual root notes. And once you get a root note, you can just go with it after you learn. I'm not great at guitar playing. You have to talk to Glenn about that. But so that project came out of he is a great singer, and I wanted like him to be able to do the lead singing, and I can do harmonies because I love doing harmonies. And I'm like, but I don't get to do it that often. And I'm like, babe, why don't you sing? And I'll do harmonies. And I'm like, I'm gonna learn and he has like a little drum machine loopy pedal that he plays with.
Okay, cool.
And I'm like, well, I've been wanting to learn bass for forever because I've just always wanted to learn bass, but I haven't really had a chance to. I haven't had, you have to have a reason to do something, I find, because I get in projects and I get distracted and I'm like, okay, this project is what I want to do. I'm going to learn the bass for this project.
Yep. It forces
like,
you.
It almost, but like, and I haven't played bass in a while and I kind of want to do that some more too. But like, that's just like a little project between the two of us. But we played, I think, 2 or 3 shows together, but then Trash Oyster started getting more popular.
Okay.
So we prioritized the band.
Yeah.
And then that project it didn't fizzle out. Like we still play shows together sometimes, but like the band is more where we're living right now.
Okay. Very cool.
So yeah, like Trash Oyster got really popular, and then we just said, all right, this is going to go on the back burner for a while. So then I also haven't played bass in a while, so I got to get back to it. This is my reminder to get back to playing bass.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Set a hard deadline. We're going to play a show by this date, so I have to get back into bass.
Right? It's like
that's really cool.
Because I practice guitar and I practice singing like every day, every other day, but like I haven't had a reason to play my bass lately. So I gotta, you're right, man. I gotta get to it. Practice every day.
I'm putting you on the spot. Practice. It's official now. Everyone hears it. What about gigging outside of New Brunswick? Do you have plans? Trash Oyster have any plans to cross any borders, provincial or international?
Well, we want to play some shows in Halifax. We've got a bunch of pals in the metal scene over there, and so we're talking. I'm talking to them right now about booking in Halifax. Cool. And we want to go to PEI, but paying money to get back over the bridge, like
yeah,
it's just as like you're already paying for gas and food for 4 people and 2 vehicles because we have gear, and it's just like it's expensive. So it's if you're going to PEI, you gotta have several shows lined up in PEI.
Yeah,
make enough money to come back. You gotta
pay to leave. Yeah, have you heard of Music MB? They have grant systems that you can apply to. Yeah,
I've been applying for a few of them, and I have a friend who's going to mentor me in writing for grants. So that's another focus I have right now. Is
cool. It can help recoup some of those gas. Yeah, that's all. That's not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it is a reality. Financials are a reality of trying to tour.
Like we're members, and like I've been keeping up to date on like the grants. It's just finding a grant that's for a band versus an individual artist is tough because the grants are like few and far between for like full bands kind of thing. So
yeah, I think there's
tougher, but
there's one. So actually, I work for Music MB part time. So there's one called Live Performance Grant that like as long as you have like 5 gigs lined up in a row. Like in a row.
Do they have to be like 5 dates in a row?
There's a stipulation of like how close together they have to be, but it's relatively generous, like because 5 dates in the East Coast,
As a rock singer, like it's hard for me to sing 2 shows and I've done 2 shows in a row. It's not fun. I can't speak for maybe 2 weeks after. But like I also am getting vocal lessons to help me with that because I belt a lot and I sing a lot. So I've got a friend in Halifax, Evan Frizzle, who plays in Turbo, and we've been chatting, and he does like guitar lessons and vocal lessons, and I'm getting him to help teach me, how do you do like 4 shows in a row as a metal singer, or a hard rock singer, and he's just like, we can actually, he's like, I can teach you some tricks, and I'm like, all right, so he's going to be doing some vocal coaching with me.
Cool.
I'm approaching a few people who are local in like the musical theater scene also to see if I can get. It's just hard like as a rock singer because there aren't that many rock singers here that are primarily like femme or female, because it's particularly like I don't want to mess up my normal voice. My normal singing voice versus when I'm belting versus when I'm trying to sing high notes and going into my like upper echelons of my vocals. It's like, it's tough. Because it's different from it just is. It's different. So I'm trying to find a few different coaches that can teach me certain things. It's not easy, but I'm doing that and I'm great. Yeah.
No, you're totally right. Because our band, like you hear stories of singers who blow their voice out and I'm so
scared about doing that. Like, because right now I love singing rock and I want to do it as long as I can, but I know that there's a time limit on how long my voice can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I'm trying to learn the tricks now to help me do that, so I can do like 6 shows, or 3 shows in a weekend.
Yeah.
Because once I can do that, then we can think about doing tours.
Yeah.
More.
Cool.
And like that's I need to figure out how to do this without blowing my voice before we think about doing a tour.
Yeah. Yeah, getting on the road and then halfway through it, losing your voice. It's just like getting sick. You're just like, this is a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's my personal like immediate plans is I've been talking to people about giving me some vocal coaching.
Cool.
But that's also a personal investment. So I have to figure out if there are grants that I can apply for that, because that's pricey and I am barely making rent. So
yeah, money is, it's always, that can be a roadblock to a lot of situations. Obviously, people. That's one thing about talking about art is it's so fun to imagine and talk about art and creativity, but then in the back of everyone's mind is like the financials involved. It's kind of a bummer. But.
Yeah, like luckily I work at a music venue,
mm-hmm.
so if I want a night off for a show, it's like, yeah, sure, you got a show, go do it.
Yeah,
boss understands.
Yeah, that's nice.
And like that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really nice that I don't have to worry too much. And like my day work, like I'm working towards doing a master's in sociology right now, and doing research during the daytime, that doesn't affect my nightlife at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
good point.
Like I can do a day job and play shows and that's essentially what I want to do. Is I want to be able to do research during the daytime, do like my day work with my degree, and be able to do shows at night,
mm-hmm.
and not do like full time either, but do both part time. And that would be the ideal for me. Like that's what I want. I don't want to cut music out of my life,
mm-hmm.
because it's such a huge part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't just, and the band too. Like, I mean, like the dynamics that we have, like we've grown so close in the last year. And our drummer right now has a back issue, and we had to she has to do physio and whatnot, and so we had to lessen our gigs for the next month or so. We found a very good friend of mine, Joel Strauss, who is a local musician in Fredericton, and he's releasing a brand new album as well. So cool. I'm doing some harmony tracks on that.
Okay.
For him, and I was just kind of talking to him because I was just like, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do, because like we can't just cancel all of our gigs in the summer because then we'll lose momentum as a band.
Mm-hmm.
But we need Kelly to get better, so she needs time off so she can do physio and feel better. And then like we had just kind of started like being able to writing more songs, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh no, we can't write right now because we can barely practice. Like.
Yeah.
So Joel's filling in, and he's awesome. Like he's like I'm happy to be a fill-in drummer until Kelly gets better, and when she's better, I'll play the odd gig with you if you want like an extra gig a month kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, sweet. That's exactly what I need. And like he doesn't want to be a full-time drummer.
Mm-hmm.
He's happy to just fill in, and because he knows what it's like to like have all this momentum writing, and then you can't write anymore.
Yeah.
Because of circumstances that you don't control. And it's just like, oh man, like that's the worst. Like I was gutted for a few weeks, but it was just like, she's getting better, and now we have a fill-in drummer. So,
yeah.
But like we have had all that momentum, and then all of a sudden, like, it stopped. And I'm like, and that happens like in the maze, like every life just like falls out underneath you, and you can't control your surroundings. And that's that grungy feeling of like, I can't control what's going on around me. How is this affecting me? Man, I've got some good song fodder for the next couple. So I think like in the interim, like because like Joel can't practice that much, and Kelly can't practice until she's better. But she said she thinks she'll be better by September, so we'll be able to do like her for the Harvest gig.
Cool. Sweet.
But we are, which is great. And then we can like take on some more gigs, because Joel's happy to do more gigs as well, like just filling in and doing like an extra gig once in a while, because it's fun for him. He's like, dude, I get to drum to like these are all songs that he loves too. And he's in our age group, and like we're all just like, yeah, let's go, man. Like it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
That's the thing. Like it's fun. You get your feelings out. Like if I'm having a really crappy day, and then I go to band practice, and it's just like, oh, I get to get it all out.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, right now Colin and Glenn and I, like the bass player and my partner Glenn, and we just get together and we're jamming and kind of trying to write songs together, and then we send the tracks that we come up with like an electrical drum beat behind it to both. Like that's the plan, is that we're going to be getting together and jamming, and then we're going to send the drum track like the song tracks that we have to both drummers and see what they're saying.
Cool.
Like, and because like they might have different input.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we have like extra collaboration.
Yeah, that's
which
really
is cool.
neat.
Like,
yeah.
So that's our plan for the near future, is to keep writing, because like we have 6 songs, we're 4 away from having a full album, and like I like to aim towards dates on having things, because like we've got January was our EP release, so like I'd like to have a full album done before January of next year, and then have like, you know, an album a year, which I think is reasonable. I don't know. I know stuff happens, but like that's what I'd like to do. That's a me thing. But
yep. Cool. Well,
I got goals.
It's good to set it's good to pick a date, and even if it's like a self-implied deadline, I feel like that's a good way to approach, because it gives because creativity can get out of control, where it's just like everything's 75% done. Nothing ever actually gets 100% finished, because if people are imposing their own deadlines, you know what I mean? I
like to set deadlines. That's how I work very well with deadlines. So when I'm doing research or doing work, if I give myself, I say I have to have this done by this time, I'll have it done. And that's so that's kind of, and we want to release, and we're thinking about trying to release a few singles.
Okay.
Just to see, because that's kind of lately the industry has, a lot of people have been releasing singles to monetize more, and I think that might be a good idea for us to do. So we might do. I think we're planning on making our newest song, "Let Me Know," a single, and we have to approach it. There are a few people we want to approach, and just to do the single with somebody else, and just try it out. But
see what the vibe is for recording. You mean?
Yeah. Cool. And then the full album, like, but yeah, we're trying to figure out where we want to go, but we can definitely do that one as a single. And then in the meantime, before we can get a full album together, because right now writing is our challenge. So
that's understandable.
Where we used to practice every single week, and like now it's like we practice the week, like a week or 2 before a show, because like we have a show coming up, but it's just like we still want to write.
Yeah, and it's such a collaborative process. You want everyone to be involved.
Yeah, like I can't just. It's so much better in person, because we feel the vibes from each other. We see our emotions, and like I can see the emotion. Like I can see what Glenn and Colin and Kelly are feeling, and like I try to like iterate that through like and me, and I kind of pour it all into the pen and paper, you know.
Yeah,
I write everything like by hand. Like I can't. I sit in the corner on a chair with a notebook and just say, "Let's go." Like
something about writing with a pen. Yeah, it's nice.
But yeah, Trash Oyster, like I love this band so much, and like I'm so happy that people are starting to listen to the music, and that people are hearing it and resonating, and like that just means the world to me, the world to all of us. Like it's so cool. Like today, like what was it? Somebody posted today. Just today, we got a little shout out from Digital. What was it? I'm finding them quickly. Bear with me. Go on my page because I just posted it.
Yeah, no problem.
Earshot Digital Distribution System.
Yeah, nice.
There's like they called us out today, and I was just like, dude, like I never heard of them.
Yeah.
And like they have a bunch of followers, and they were just like, hey, like this is our track of the day, and it's James from Trash Oyster, and I'm like, what? So they posted that today, and we have a gig tonight.
Cool.
So it's just like
nice timing.
It's I couldn't have timed it better. Like I was like, dude. So and then that means the world to me. Like people I don't know, people I haven't reached out to are like, this is our track of the day, and I'm like, what?
That's sweet. Yeah, they that's the distribution system for all the college and community radio campuses across Canada.
Well, yeah, because I talked to Tom Bladell from CHSR a bit ago. He does. Oh gosh, yeah, he does. A Moncton station and a St. John station, and he played us on the radio there. And then we did an interview with Tim Scammell from CHSR in Fredericton. Okay. Cool. And like I've been doing some interviews, and like this is my 3rd interview now.
Sweet.
That I've done for the band, and like it's like I sent out emails to CHSR and to like pretty much any station that I could find. I just sent an email out saying, this is our band. This is where you can find our music. Yep. If you like us, send me an email. You know. And I've got approached by people who I didn't approach, and I was just like, cool, let's go. Like And so today that was just like, this is our song of the day. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
what?
awesome. That's awesome.
Guys?
Well, speaking of someone who works at a radio station who gets these emails, I personally appreciate the short email like that, where it's just like, hey, here's the music. This is what's up. See you later. Because like the first thing I want to do is hear the music and then being like, okay, it doesn't matter how beautiful the email or press package is. If you hit play and you don't like what you hear, that's just the unfortunate reality.
Yeah, and I'm like in the intro line, I'm just like, grunge band from Fredericton, original music, Trash Oyster, and then I, like, this is it. Here's a link to our link tree. You can find all of our socials.
Yeah.
Here's a link to a Google Drive thing where you can listen to our tracks.
Yeah.
If you like it, let's talk.
Exactly.
Or feel free to play it, and let me know if you play it. You don't have to talk to me. Just tell me if you're playing it.
Yeah. That's a good approach.
Well, like, I know what that's like to like receive a bunch. Like, I mean, as a university student, I get like 50 emails a day sometimes, and it's just like, oh god.
Yeah,
like,
you get a lot.
Yeah. But I'm like, here, short and sweet. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. If you like our music, play it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make a pitch for it. Do you know Monopolized Records? Corey Bonavie here in St. John. So Corey Bonavie, he's an engineer. He owns a record label, and he kind of like specializes. That's not the right word to use, but a lot of the bands he records around here are like really close to being grunge. Like he was in Little You, Little Me. And
nice.
And I'm pretty sure he did all the engineering for them, and he Dr. Mother Father and Constant Greetings. A bunch of rock stuff like that.
Send me contact info. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's reasonable rates too. Great guy. So kind of get that. Maybe the St. John sound or his vibe would blend well with the Trash Oyster grunge.
Maybe do a single with him and see how that
test
goes.
it out. Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah, because like that's the thing about singles is you can try different people. And
true.
See like what your vibe is.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, just come down, get one song done and out of the way, and if it feels right, you could always go back for more.
Yeah, like I've got a pal who wants to do like a logo for another logo for us for our t-shirt and the t-shirts and merch and stuff. But I'm like, yeah, man, let's talk. Like, like I just try different people out. I know people don't get annoyed if you go to other people for singles just to try things out.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the game. Everyone, like,
part of it.
Also, like an engineer, I mean, of course, people, again, in the back, there's always the money thing, but so people want the work. Yeah. People want the work, but at the same time, an engineer wants to work with someone that they gel with as well, right? Like a producer engineer.
Yeah. And like James was an easy choice because he's already a buddy of ours and in several bands and knows what he's doing. He does like the shows that he did sound for us. He was just like, oh man, like I love doing sound for you guys. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no, you're easy to do sound for.
Nice, yeah.
And like, so it was just like, do you guys want to record in my basement studio? And that's kind of how that just like came out. And we're like, yeah, man, let's go. Like it was very nonchalant how we talked about it.
That's cool.
Because we had played a few of the original songs that we were coming up with, and he's like, "We probably have enough for an EP." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." Like so, and it was just that's how it organically just kind of came up in conversation.
Okay.
So like, and like it's cool. We didn't have to approach anybody. It was just like, "Hey, I want to do this," and I'm like, and that's what we want. Like we want people who we want to work with people who want to work with us.
Have it be organic, feel natural.
Yeah, and like this is like I'm so glad we did this. Like I don't. I mean, we don't get to talk too much about like, the grunge scene or like how we got into music. And like, it's not something that like those stories aren't really told that often. It's just like, here, listen to this,
Yeah.
And like, it's so good to have like a story behind the track.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my favorite things about the whole situation. So yeah, to hear other people's stories and how they got to be, or got to where they are or where they're looking to go, that kind of thing. I find interesting.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, like our band is more like a family than a band even, like, cause we're just like, there's never any drama. Like,
nice.
like literally like my partner and I are in a band together. So it's just like anything, like wherever we're mad at each other, we just play a rock song and get it out of our feelings. It's just,
he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write a song about you now.
Well, it's good fodder for honestly, but like honestly, there's nothing better than like being on stage with your partner. There's nothing more electric than like me look over and he's playing guitar and rocking out and like I'm rocking out and it just like it's such a
good vibe.
I hesitate to say passionate, but like that's like you feel it, like you really feel it when you're on stage and you're both in your element and you're really like loving your life at that moment, and it's just like there's no other feeling, and like being able to do that with your partner, like Like it's seldom that like bands have like their partners, like Marion. Like,
yeah, like Marion.
They're together. Like that's like right. There's nothing like it, and you can tell how much they love each other.
Yeah.
And like for us, it's just like you can tell how much like passion we feel from the music and the emotions, and then like it really comes together on stage when you see us play together. Like it's just electric.
Yeah, that's cool. I agree.
It's on fire.
What'd you say? Electric on fire?
I said it's on fire.
On fire.
On
okay.
fire.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple come in, a band called Moonfruits. It's a wife.
I've heard of Moonfruits.
You heard of Moonfruits? So
oh yeah, they're really good.
They're awesome. So that's like they came on the show and did an acoustic performance and a live interview at the radio station, and that's the vibe. Yeah. Like you could sense that vibe too. They're a couple and they have a kid and everything, and
they're so sweet.
Yeah, super nice.
They played a show at Broken Record a while ago, and I loved them so much.
Yeah, super nice.
They're so wonderful. Oh
yeah, very nice people. It was a great interview and great. I think they played 5 songs live, which was awesome just to have someone there playing live on the radio. First time I got to host that kind of show. So
yeah, because like my acoustic stuff, like I've gone into CHSR and like played in Fredericton.
Cool.
And done like some of my originals and whatnot live, and that was because you can do that with an acoustic guitar, but it's having a place where a band can do that in a room. And then you have to have like a sound guy who's going to master it and engineer it, and there's a lot of logistical fun things for you.
Lots of moving parts, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Maybe we should do, so believe it or not, like we've been chatting for like an hour and 10 minutes.
I did not even look at the time.
It's crazy how fast it goes, eh?
No,
it still surprises me. It still surprises me how quick it goes.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions. I know we've chatted about a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah, it's great. I think maybe a good thing to do would be to recap. So again, like we know you're playing tonight, but this is going to air after that. So anyone listening, unfortunately, you won't be able to have the down low on the Mooch show, but maybe we can quickly recap. You're playing Harvest.
Yeah, we got so July 20th. We're playing at Grady's Pub in Salisbury. We're doing like a full night thing where I'm going to do an acoustic grunge set, and then we're going to have the band play for a few hours. Like it's going to be a whole night.
Cool.
And then
so covers and originals probably because you're doing a couple sets, I would imagine. Awesome.
Yeah. And then we've got September. During Harvest Week, we're playing at Monarch.
Okay.
September the 12th. It's a Thursday night. We're switching because our drummer Kelly will be back in the saddle, as they call it.
Yep.
And she's got a photography gig that weekend, so we've got a gig. We switched some days around with Monarch. Normally, I host karaoke on Thursdays. So we were just going to do Trash Oyster show on Thursday night. Then I'm going to host karaoke Friday, and then they've got Cherry Dynamite playing Saturday at Monarch during Harvest.
Okay, so a little Harvest special lineup.
Oh, I love playing Harvest, and like people just walk in off the streets, and like they're like, "What? There's a rock band playing during?"
During Harvest. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so fun. And then that rate for right now, that's what we've got set in stone. I'm talking to people from Halifax right now and trying to book a Halifax show. I'm thinking August.
Okay.
And then I'm looking in October and November because like I try to at least have one show a month.
Yeah.
Like two max. Like at least until I can get vocal coaching for like being able to sing more than once in a weekend.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
But for right now, July 20th at Grady's in Salisbury, and then September 12th in Fredericton at Harvest.
Okay.
And those are 2 set in stone dates, but I have more in the mix that I'm chatting with right now. So you'll see some posted up on check our socials. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And I run ads on both. I run all the information on them as often as I can. Okay. I have other jobs, but I try.
Yeah. And music wise, is Bandcamp the best place to check out the EP?
Yes, because you can buy it, and we can monetarily make money.
Can be a value, an exchange of value.
There can be an exchange of value on Bandcamp. We would rather if our music were purchased rather, but listens are good. Yeah, I understand.
Sure. Yep.
Getting money for your craft is great.
Exactly.
We only have like 5 hard copy CDs left, and we're probably going to sell out of them tonight.
Oh yes, okay.
Like we played a show in Woodstock last month, and like a lot of the kids, like there was an all ages show.
Nice.
And they loved there were like some high school kids coming to the show who knew all of the lyrics to our
awesome.
songs. Like they clearly were on Spotify listening to us, and it was just like,
awesome.
Oh my God, I love you so much, and they bought T-shirts.
That's
and
sick.
It was cool. It was so cool.
Was that put on by Corey by any chance? Corey at Scene Productions?
Corey.
Yeah, man. It sounds like he's doing an amazing job up there.
Oh, he's doing such a good job. Corey's such a sweetheart, and he's so good with bands. and like you can tell his heart is in the music, and that's like we book a lot with Eddie Young and Fredericton, and Corey and Eddie booked that one together.
Okay.
And it was just like, oh my God,
That's
like
cool.
Corey's amazing.
That's
like,
awesome.
Shout
out to Corey.
Shout out to Corey, dude. He does a lot for the community, and people don't really know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've never met him in person, but we've chatted a bit online, and
follow the scene
productions,
and we're with Roots and Soul Music Productions, does most of our booking. Eddie Young. And we're not playing Living Roots because Glenn and I both have to work.
Okay.
but Living Roots Festival's coming up in June in Fredericton, and that's got tons of music. So I don't know if you're hearing this before June, like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. If they hear it before then, Living Roots is coming up.
Living Roots.
So
Okay.
Come out to Fredericton for that one. Living Roots Music Festival.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like a pretty solid summer and fall. And trashoyster.bandcamp.com.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
And we're on SoundCloud too, and we use DistroKid, so we're on all the platforms that DistroKid does. So it's like Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and YouTube and Google Music, and it's I don't know.
It came up right away. I use YouTube Music. It came up right away. It was so that name is a great one for that reason too, because it came up right away. You know, no guessing.
Yeah, Trash Oyster. Yeah. I love the band name.
Yeah,
based off Garbage and Pearl Jam. I was just like, it's like we were a grunge tribute show. So
that's
like,
perfect.
That's what we came up for, and then like everybody's like, that's such a grungy name, and I'm like, yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah, it works perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's awesome, Kelsey. I feel I've learned a ton, and
hopefully I haven't talked your ear off too much.
No, that's why I feel like I'm spoiled by just getting to chat and let people like give me inside details on all this interesting stuff. So I kind of feel like spoiled a little bit. But.
Thank you so much. Like it's been, and honestly, it was fun.
Yeah,
we'll happily do it again when we do a full album release.
For sure,
I
absolutely.
will actually maybe I'll contact you when we hit the album release, and I'll let you know, because then we could do a little chat about it.
Also, thanks a lot for coming on the show, Kelsey. I look forward to hearing more music come out of Trash Oyster in the future.
Thank you. And nice to meet you too. I added you on Facebook, and like you can follow, if you don't follow Trash Oyster, follow us, and you'll see everything we're playing and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
That sounds great.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. See ya.